The Americans created Daesh. Saudi Arabia created Daesh. Daesh right now, the people they're supposed to hate, hey, those people get military treatment in Israel right now. Daesh and ISIL, the people who cut everybody's throat on TV, those bums, totally un-Islamic, those caliphate people, they get treatment. If they get wounded, they can get treatment in Israel right now today. This is insanity that they get treatment right now in Israel. They do Daesh. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret. That's another one of the good things. Psychological promotion of the cause. Unity of focus, unity of purpose. That's one of the elementary results of this post-assassination period. They've caused everyone to focus on the United States of America, right? Everyone's focused on the United States of America. They're focused on getting rid of the United States of America. All of the post-petty fitna that was encouraged by the United States, encouraged by the Israelis, right? Encouraged by the Saudis, that's gone. You can't find none of that anywhere. That don't exist. The unity of groups inside, the unity of from Marjah, like Aga Sistani is a Marjah, big Marjah. They used to have little petty differences. They set them aside. Like the little petty differences that Iranians had with each other during the war, they set them all aside. We didn't have no basic fitna here between the Iranians from 1980, let's say, to 1989 or 90, during Imam's period? No, because everybody knew they were different. The Iranians here, they had some, you could call them all kind, let's say some were Democratic, some were Republican minded, some were, I'm saying if they was back home, they would be in different groupings. Some believed in a strong economy, some believed in integrated economy with the West. They had, all of our brothers had those beliefs. They didn't bring none of that up during this period, because that would cause fitna. That only came up after Imam passed and after the war is over and after now we can have divergent discussions. You know, we can have little houses. We told them this is not the time for that. You can't do that now. You can't have no houses. You can't have no argumentation. In fact, as far as reprisals go, there should be no visible reprisals from the Islamic State till after the anniversary of the revolution, which is February 11th. It's a little over a month from now, right? The 22nd of Bahman. No nothing. Why? This is the period to mobilize the benefits of what just happened. It would take them so much work just to use the benefits. Remember, everything that they wanted, they got from this. Everything. They got unity, they got harmony, they got focus, right? They got concentration of lines, concentration of leadership. They got national and international support. They got everything They was working for it. Now remember, me and you or nobody, they didn't have the power to produce this. One martyrdom produced everything that they wanted. This, right? Tell the truth. This martyrdom done produced everything they wanted, and everybody got assigned. We are all Suleimani, right? That means his ideas, his hopes and aspirations. Now remember, martyrdom, man, we had a book of martyrdom. They didn't kill everybody. This book is full of, this is 1980, something like that, 79. This book is full of martyrs. Almost everybody you see in this book was martyred. Everything you look at, Imam proclaims National Day of Mourning. That's for all the martyrs. See the blood down here? The Rahbar just gave 3 days of mourning. Isn't that right? This is the second day, and everybody is just getting warmed up on mourning. What I'm telling you, what part do we play in this? We understand all of this stuff. We understand what it means, and we've always understood what it means. The United States don't understand anything. They never would have done that. Qasem Soleimani had already produced everything that was needed. On every battlefield, wherever the United States was, and the Israelis and the Saudis, to cause trouble, he was there to fix it. He fixed it. He fixed, when they came into Syria, man, that's not good, God Almighty, that was 2011. Hey man, that's 9 years ago. 9 years? To a lot of people, that's a long time ago. But when you get older, it's not far back. They thought, what did they think? We're going to finish our Syria in 2 weeks, 2 months, or a few months. And they still there in Syria with Iranian, Hezbollah, and Russian help have eased them out, and they got them all over in a corner. Why are they so mad at him if he done whooped all of the people they don't like? It's because he done whooped their creation. He done whooped their organization. And they're mad. Rahbar said it last week. He said they're jealous. They're jealous because everything they tried to do, none of it worked. None of it worked. So therefore, they killed him now. Okay, you got to remember, this killing of him could have happened anytime. He was everywhere in Lebanon. Shoot, he was in Syria. He was in Iraq. And you see, he took a commercial flight. This was a commercial flight he was on. And he did, his bodyguard, he wasn't heavy with bodyguards. Plus I don't know whether it's the 9th or 10th attempt on his life, I don't know. But Allah kept him alive till he did what he did. He was up in his 60s. And he's been doing this all his life since he was an early guy in his 20s. He got started in this war right here. He has a good history. They helped restore Khorram Shah and other. Khorram Shah was so destroyed. Some of the cities in Iran were so destroyed that they left those cities where they was and they built the city, a new city next to it, because there's no sense in bothering with that. That's how destructive. I showed y'all some of those pictures. Also, the attitude of this period. The reason we knew what to say to Iranians during the early period is because we knew the value of martyrdom. We go to Iran, you know the way they have fountains? It's usually just water. They put Kool-Aid or something in the water so it's red. It's blood. Hey, remember how long we've been talking about you keep on scratching the shears, you're going to strike blood. Just keep on scratching. Don't worry, and they go do it. Scratch, 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 and they don't know what the heck they're doing. And then they get to now, okay? Jig is up, it's all over. It's all over. First of all right is on their side. Now you got to imagine what they're dealing with. They done destroyed all the plans of the Zionists. They destroyed all the plans of Saudi Arabia. They done destroyed all the plans of the Americans. They've destroyed all of those. Okay, now what do they have to deal with? All fitna is eliminated. Iran, Iraq, Syria is one psychological, ideological block of people who are working all together in unity and harmony. Assalamu alaikum, I have to call you back in a few minutes. They're all working in unity and they're all working in harmony.
We need the key.
To the car, go downstairs and get it on my desk. Okay. Nobody could produce that unity, that harmony, and that focus. Nobody. We don't have the power to do it. Iranians couldn't do it. Iraqis couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. But an idiot could do it. An idiot, Donald Trump, could do it. He pulled it off. I would say, of course, now personally, I hope that everything, they take it easy. And number one, all of the fingers are going to have a response. Hezbollah is going to have a response. They can't. One thing Nasrallah said this morning, he said, we, the independent, he said, we are independent of Iran. Iran is our friend. But whatever we do, they can't blame Iran for what we're going to do. But he said, we're not going to target, he said, we are not terrorists. We're not going to target any American citizens. We're going to target American military. American military. That's what we're going to do. They said, we're independent. You can't blame anything we do. And he called on all the independent structures, movements, and organizations that are Iranian affiliated and loved. He said, all of us got some duties. You all have to figure out what to do. You figure that's your. He said, I'm not telling anybody to do nothing. But we can think of what we have to do. Iran's response is its response. My suggestion, Iran, take it easy, mobilize on all the emotion, the time, and what have you. And we talked about this before it happened, that we have already given the world an example of patience and taking your time with what happened to us in Oakland. Everybody else thought they looked at it was the terriblest thing ever. I said, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. But it shows, when I'm talking now, I'm not talking on theory. I'm telling them, now here's what you do. take it easy. You take your time. You put heat on them. Your inactivity, remember we said in many lectures, attack at the third blowing of the horn. Does anybody remember that? What does that mean? Like right now, this is the first blowing of the horn. And everybody's emotional. We want revenge right now. Go home and take a rest. Don't worry about it. One more incident. The second time, the U.S. will mobilize itself again, like it's mobilized right now. We want something to happen. They gotta want something to happen, or they wouldn't have did it. They could have done that. I just said it. They could have done that anytime. They could have did it in Syria. They could have did it in Iraq. They could have did it in Lebanon. They could have martyred that brother anytime they wanted. They did it then. So technically, Allah scheduled his martyrdom, because look at the result. Good God Almighty! You can't even imagine this kind of result. I tell the truth. You can't imagine how could we get millions of people in the street 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a little fitna here, a little fitna there, a little arguing, a little religion. Now it ain't none. It's gone. Why? Because it's back to the old days again with modern connotations. Hey, man, they don't understand. They don't understand Muslims. They don't understand Shias, and they don't understand Shiism at all. With all of those fatheads in every, they got Department of Strategic Studies, they got, man, I watched so many of them crackpots on my phone in the lecture. They are real crackpots.
But out of arrogance, do they think they understand?
They think they understand. That's the beautiful part. Ignorance and arrogance, that's the worst combination. That's what we got. We got ignorance and arrogance. In Donald Trump, you have it to the umpteenth projectile, right? He is ignorant and arrogant supremo. More than you couldn't believe it, that there'd be somebody that ignorant and that arrogant, all in the one person. Yes, ignorance and arrogance. That's what you want in an enemy, right? Know yourself, know your enemy, right? 1,000 battles, 1,000 victory. Don't know yourself and don't know your enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 losses. Right? Tell the truth. It's 1,000. Have the U.S. ever came up with the right conclusion or the right analysis on Iran? They never have. That's why at lectures I told Iranians, I say it here, I've said it 100 times. I said, Iran has a jinx. I just used the old Negro term. It's from Allah, what they have. But I just use colored talk. They got a jinx on. I say, y'all got a jinx on America. America don't know it, and you don't know it. You don't know you got a jinx on it. No Iranians or Iraqis gave any lectures or any talks on why 20, 25, 30 million people are going to Najaf and Karbala. No killings, people lying up the road, feeding each other, they're doing it peaceably live. What we said is Allah is getting them ready. Okay. What happened? I'm not saying this to brag or to do anything, but when crunch time comes and you have people that know what they're talking about and have proved it, and you can sit and pick up any CD, DVD, or all you want for years. And that's what it says. Exactly. And it don't get, the closer it gets to this period, the more accurate and that we become on this subject. They never said it. They never said our people are coming here because, we said they're coming here because Allah is getting them ready for something and they don't know what it is, right? But Allah is getting them ready. And who did Allah get ready? The Shias. That's just the way it is. It ain't nothing. We're not doing this. We're telling people and we're doing whatever we can along those lines already now. Okay, you got to remember, we've always said what happens with Iran and us, we have a symbiotic relationship. Does anybody remember that? Symbiotic, you know, that it happens to them, symbiotic. It's, actually, they used to have a group called the Symbionese Liberation Army. I don't know if anybody remember that. Symbionese, you remember that? Mm-hmm. So they burn up half of them in L.A. They did something to, anyway, L.A. always burn up people. They don't play, you know. That guy that shot up everybody 10 years ago, remember that sheriff or something? And he run off in the woods, and he was in a cabin. They burn him up. They lit him. That's what they do in LA. They burn people alive. Finished. Okay, but anyway, what's been happening to us over this whole period of time? I want to tell you the truth about Oakland. I don't say I don't care about Oakland at all. But this, there's the pre-period, and then there's a post-period. In this period, we're going to mess around a little bit and deal with that situation. But we have to go for big now. The stuff is important. The Masjid is important. Property is important. But all of that now, we have to explode into what we've been talking about. We've been talking about quantum leaps. White folks call it a quantum jump. When you, in history, the Chinese, everybody believed that to produce a real communist system,